Hey everybody, welcome to episode 171 of the Bonehead podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. And jingle. Welcome back. I'm Ben, and once again I'm joined by Brush Tithe, Blood Tithe. Ben, how you doing, BT?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. It's very exciting time.
Brush Tithe TM.
Yeah,
sure.
that's coming soon. No, that'll be next podcast. Let's not get hasty.
No. That's one of the things we're not allowed to talk about. And as ever, we're joined by the connoisseur of wands, the Highlander himself, Ian Triple Pow Triplo. Trips, how you doing?
I'm very excited by the constant refreshing of Warhammer community, which has actually been worth it this week.
So, like, I spend my life in so much anxiety whenever I have to go places. In the last 2 weeks, I've had like 4 or 5 days in Central on team builds and conferences and stuff. And every time I'm like, oh, there's going to be articles. There's going to be articles. And there was. So, Ben, leading into that, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, we're going to be talking about what the new rosters the changes to the new rosters might result in the new edition, because we've had a pretty spicy article that came out, which was saying all your players are gone.
All your players belong to us. Says
it made people. It's really good actually, because it's one of those things which has really brought the community together, and I think everyone can unanimously agree it's a really positive change. I don't think I've seen any comments actually.
I would say I have been genuinely surprised by a lot of the positive stuff that I do see. The negative stuff, I'm not surprised. And as a person who, as a way of life, I always try and find, okay, well, there's this good thing, or this could happen, or this will be all right. That actually, it's good to see that there are other people there who are as hopeful as I am about things. Which is really useful when obviously we do a podcast with Trips here, and I'm like, oh, maybe this thing will happen, and Trips is like, not a chance, it's never coming out, December 2027, good luck, Ben. What was it we said? Was it?
You're continually fighting him in the group chat lately. It's just like positive vibes only. Stop it.
Come on. What would Aaron Rodgers say? Trips is what I kind of wanted to say to you. In fact, I tried to find an Aaron Rodgers meme where he's like talking about manifesting, but there isn't one, which is ironic.
No. I don't think he's a good example. I do not think he's a good example.
Anyway, yes, let's talk news. Okay, so like BT and Trips have said, there was some articles this week, there was some news this week. There's actually a lot of cool stuff coming out from Games Workshop at the moment. It feels like that the release constipation has somewhat been X-laxed, which I'm really pro. I'm pro release X-lax. We've got Warhammer Quest, we've got some fun stuff for the old world, but quite frankly, none of that matters right now because we had a monster article about Blood Bowl. Now, if you follow the channel, we've put a few videos out about stuff like this, and I said we'd talk about it on the podcast. So let's talk about it on the podcast. Look, there's some stuff in here about rules, and the rule stuff looks good, and we will talk about the rule stuff. But the biggest thing in this article, and I think is the thing, right? Is the thing. There's some great stuff in this article about the rules, but the team roster changes are the big thing. And I'll read this first bit. Perhaps the biggest change in this new edition is that all of the rosters have been looked at, tweaked and changed to provide a new and exciting challenge for coaches. The first thing to note is the number of positionals on a roster will now match what is in the team box, meaning you should never have to buy a second box just to get more blitzers / runners, etc. And before we go on, I do want to say that that is technically correct. You will not need a second box to pick up blitzers or runners or positionals, just your linemen. So yeah, there are a couple of exceptions to this. Positionals that were entirely separate from the contents of the team box, such as Goblin Secret Weapons, Dark Elf Assassin, Bull Centaurs, and most big guys will remain untouched, as they don't require you to buy a second team and have a load of redundant models like linemen. Additionally, the Ogre team will still allow 2 boxes. Otherwise, this team simply wouldn't function. Plus, you can still get additional ogres separately. So, whilst this will mean a number of rosters will lose a number of their better players, Skaven, Dark Elves, Orcs, What we've done is rebalance a number of positionals with improved stats or skills. Thank you, Airbrush. Across the board to account for this. Here are some examples to showcase this. So, a Skaven team can now take 2 gutter runners instead of 4, but their blitzers are now movement 8 and have strip ball as well, which is quite interesting. Dark elves can now take only 2 blitzers, but their runners gained punt and their assassins gained hit and run, which now works with stab. Shambling undead can now take 2 ghouls, but they gained regeneration and the zombies gained eye gouge. Eye gouge is a new skill that they talked about in one of the other articles that means it's like a kind of
like turns off your assist. It's like reverse guard, isn't
yeah,
it?
kind of, yeah. So
Yeah.
ghouls getting regen. All right, so where would we like to begin with this? Bearing in mind that there might be some positive spins, and there are some positive spins. It's just there's a lot of emotion, and I guess we should probably start with that by saying that those of you who love Blood Bowl love your teams, and there's a lot of teams here that are going to be affected, and they are going to be quite changed, and you are going to have to go through that classic kind of Games Workshop trope of the models I've bought now don't work anymore, which
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest thing really, is like you see a lot of people just like, I've just finished a human team. What's this? Like, I've painted 4 models which I can't use. And it's things like that where I do get, especially as I do commissions, right, in the commission paints, and like some people will like order a team and it's just like it's not that cheap, and then you get that and it's just like, ooh, but now it's yeah.
I don't know,
But
that's
I
great for
think
business. You just send them an email, be like, hey, do you want more linemen?
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, they're twice as expensive as positionals.
Yeah, I don't particularly buy. Yeah, like you already touched on it. The oh wait, we're doing positive first. Sorry, we're doing positive first. Yeah, no, I Oh wait, are we doing positive first? I've lost track.
Let's just talk. Let's just have a conversation. We love Blood Bowl so much, and there are some teams that we prefer, but we're very lucky in that we like playing lots of different teams. So it does soften the blow a little bit to be like, okay, I love Skaven. Skaven have now been changed quite significantly. But how often do I run Skaven versus Black Orcs versus Orcs on the channel versus whatever? So it's kind of like there is a hampering effect to it where it's not quite as bad for us because we don't. Well, I mean, you went through a period of maining Khorne, Ben, but like we don't actually really get a chance to main stuff because every week we play with a different team. So it's kind of a little bit less tempered. I will say I had a bit of an emotional journey with Skaven being in 2016. I didn't even bother with the thrower because I had 4 gutter runners that were passing 2+, right? That's how it worked. So I just had 4 2+ forever people who could throw the ball, do whatever, wonderful. Then they got throwing taken away from them. Now there's only 2. On the plus side, Skaven does have a Rat Ogre, so your Rat Ogre 2 gutter runner build, which I ran once or twice as a league starting point, is actually still really effective and really fun. So it's okay. So I just wanted to sort of say like there is going to be a lot of emotion out there, and I think it's fair because it's stuff has been switched off, and I think there's this big dichotomy, and I really want you guys to weigh in on this one along the lines of, okay, if this is a decision that has been made to be like, look, this means someone can pick up a box and generally speaking play a team in Blood Bowl, which is going to help onboarding, and the teams get more interesting within that one box. Like I can genuinely see a load of people coming into the game or who've never got around to playing a team and they're going to pick it up. It halves the cost of the team if you're going with Games Workshop, and that one box, I'm good to go, is something we've had for the last 2-3 years with all the Games Workshop releases. And it's been pretty great to be like, I'm going to pick up this team and now I've got everything. Vampires, I've got everything. Like there's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff, and I can genuinely see the positives. But where are my gutter runners? Give me my gutter runners. I want my gutter runners now. Thoughts, chaps?
Yeah, I think it unlocks new ways to play the team. That's how I'm seeing this.
Yep.
Because I think it's a new meta. It's a shake up. It means it's no longer the same thing that you've been playing with for ages. Like you said, with the passing change, that changed up how Skaven played. And I know there are definitely comments when they introduced that, being just like, Wood Elves are dead now. Like Skaven is dead now, and things like that. And they certainly are not. It just unlocks a new way. I think Dark Elf is a really good example here. I think Dark Elves, you lost 2 blitzers, which is obviously quite significant, but with like hit and run stab assassins and
See, that
this
sounds
new punt
exciting,
thing.
right?
It sounds really cool. It's like a new team now, and I think it's way more interesting and dynamic and varied, and yeah, it creates new challenges for players to solve. And I really don't see this as that much of a negative, to be honest. I think people are quite quick to throw their toys out the pram when change happens. In any case,
Well, they might as well because they can't use them anymore. Whee!
interesting, and it's also like the knock-on effects of other teams, how you play against them as well, is now different. So like like you're not facing 4 gutter runners.
That
You can now
is so key. I did call that on the video, right? Like when I did the video, my thoughts with this were like, actually, of the stuff that's fixed, a lot of it was, Bryden, egregious. I was like, you know what? They did this with Chorfs. They toned them down and made them interesting to play against. They were worse for the players to play them who had been playing them. But for Blood Bowl, it was in a lot of ways a lot better because there was one less, guard, tackle, block, spam game. And when it comes to playing Skaven, actually, 4 gutter runners can be a lot of gutter runners. When it comes to Dark Elves, it's a team with 4 movement 7 Edge 2 plus blitzers because you got Witch Elves as well. And it's like these teams, orcs, like when they get down the way with 4 blitzers and 4 blockers, like it's a lot of stuff that can be really hard to run against. So there is definitely a positive there where it's going to be more fun to play against these teams because it's a new challenge. But I feel like I was going to cut you off there, Trips.
Yeah, I think it's a really good change because I think we've been seeing the changes come with the teams, and a lot of these are the very established teams that have had boxes for a long time. And instead of this change being slowly spread out by team updates over the course of 3 years, like 2 at a time, to get them all in one go, fabulous. I like the idea as well that particularly for the teams where it was a bit egregious, that if you're a new player and you get the box, you don't turn up to the first play and someone goes, you need 2 more of this, you need 2 more of that, because you're going to be buying them at the end of your first game. So I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And I think it will make those teams more interesting because I don't think they were solved completely, but they had a very, very clear developmental route. It was like, you get all 4 of these, you slap the same skills on them. That's what you do. They're just good like this. Now, the positionals that you might not have used, but were also in the team, you're going to go, I need to use the other positionals. So what do I do with this thing?
You actually pinged this straight into the group chat, didn't you? The main aim of these changes is to provide coaches with a new gaming experience. Many coaches have seen Blood Bowl as a solved game where the best build for each roster is already determined. And you were like, I think this is directed at us.
Yes. It is solved. This is what you do. No, we will change it up and make it interesting. And I think it gives a lot of variety to both league and tournament play with these as well, because I think it shakes up everything that you know, because yes, you've taken something away, but it looks like everyone who gets something taken away is going to get something fun as well.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff they've described there actually is, Assassins. Now, the Assassins one's quite an interesting one because Dark Elves is like, you had to buy that second box for the 2 blitzers. You had to. It was too good not to. Now, you kind of have to buy the resin Assassins to kind of make up for one of the things that's pretty boosted. Now, we don't know if they've done anything to blitzers on the Dark Elf team. They've given the runner punt, and obviously they've buffed up the Assassins, but the Skaven blitzers going up to movement 8 and strip ball. I mean, I think that's quite cool.
Quite cool.
That's quite cool.
Yeah, I like that. It's very unique. It creates like an identity.
I ran a BB3 team and just farmed SPP until I had a movement 9 thrower and a couple of movement 8 blitzes. It saved everything to take movement because I was like, what would it be like if everybody was like movement 8, movement 9? And it's pretty good. Like there's definitely some fun stuff in there. It's really funny. Like Undead, I mean, Undead, you know what, guys? You don't need the other 2 ghouls. Undead are just... Having played against them in the league recently, right, in the championship, I was like, oh my God, I forgot how broken this team was. And it's not like super speedy broken. It's just like, yeah, we're good at everything and that's not going to stop.
And now you can just turn off tackle zones. With or not tackle zones, but turn off assist with the eye gouge as well, like
pokey eyes. Yeah, so
I wonder if the skeleton, it kind of needs a skeleton. Oh, sorry, Trips.
Yeah, I was going to say, it just feels like that luxury item has been taken away of going, well, you have two of these, but imagine if you had four. And be like, four is unfair. Just have two.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? At Necro, I've got 2 ghouls. And
Yeah, you reckon they get regen too?
Necro, I would assume so. I would really hate it
Confusing.
if they
Yeah.
had different players with different stats. So it'd be interesting to see whether the blitzers for Skaven still end up at movement 8 with strip ball on the on Underworld. I am pro keeping it all the same, but it was funny when I did the video. I was looking at this, I was like, now I'm really gonna struggle not to just play Underworld. Like, you could play Skaven and have 1 more gutter runner, basically. Oh no, another blitzer. Yeah, all right. Oh, but then a blitzer. Oh wow, Underworld, sneaky, sneaky buff to the best team in Blood Bowl there, potentially. We don't actually know that, but
that's the thing, you say it potentially, but remember when the nobility thrower came out, we were like, oh, it's going to be like a human thrower, and it just wasn't, because
he was not. No.
So all human throwers are not the same.
That is very true. I tell you what, we'll bounce into the passing game because that is an element there. So one of the biggest aspects of feedback for the previous edition was that passing had become far too restrictive and borderline pointless for many teams to even attempt. It was overly complex and confusing. We've removed wildly inaccurate and deflections. This not only makes passing and intercepting easier, which basically just rolls it back to 2016, I think. No longer do you need a load of additional maths to work out what kind of pass you've made. It's now either accurate, inaccurate, or fumble. And intercepting is now either just an intercept or not. That is how 2016, that's how CRP used to work. Additionally, many players have had their passing ability improved, meaning it's not just throwers that can throw the ball, although they are definitely still the best at it. So, I don't know, Trips, maybe the nobility thrower may be able to throw the ball. That would be nice.
Wouldn't it be funny if the nobility thrower still can't throw the ball, but someone else on the nobility team now can throw the ball?
Yeah, because this makes me think that linemen are getting like passing 3+ across the ball.
I mean, I just think give all the throwers passing 2+.
Yeah, but then we know they're not, because they had the Bretonnian one as well, right?
It's very true. Yeah, I was surprised to see Bretonnian, the Bretonnian thrower in the article that we'll talk about in a second about passing 3+. Is an interesting one. So yeah, there's some stuff about teams. I've seen some really great comments, and I've seen some really fair comments. So a lot of the great stuff that I've seen, and I've kind of been going, yeah, I like this. This is a good way of thinking about it. Is like, okay, so many comments have been like, okay, this is a new puzzle to solve. Like, this is wicked. Like, okay, yes, it sucks that we've lost some models, but there's a new puzzle to solve, and actually there's a lot of exciting stuff to do with that, and I am very much like that. Like, I get it, like, having played Magic, and you suffer rotation, and sometimes it gets, you know, pretty brutal. Like, the rule stuff in this sounds really great. The teams are going to change, but there's a new puzzle. So actually, I think there's a lot of potential good stuff out there. There is a lot of people out there who are going to have invalidated minis, but I think there's a whole bunch of thing here where actually this is something that could be better for new people coming into. The other thing I want to talk about before we move on, though, is a comment I saw a lot, which was, does this make rosters more linear? Like, obviously, mathematically it does. Like, but like in the way that a team is a team is a team. There's no, oh, what build? There's no, oh, what have you gone? Have you gone rat ogre? Have you not gone rat ogre? Like humans, have you gone ogre? Have you not gone ogre? Like, if there's only 2 blitzers, and probably therefore going to be forced to take 2 catchers, like on a human team, like you're going to be left with like enough money to buy Griff and his playhouse. So it's kind of like, okay, fine. It's definitely going to be the ogre build. Orcs, like, unless they buff up the positionals that are left on the roster, like it might be a case of orcs now. No, you go get that troll, because you're going to need that troll. It might be that actually every team, even though the article has been solved, it now is solved on account of it not, the build at least, simply not being a puzzle. Which I did see as a comment, and I can kind of get.
I feel that, I feel that there's still plenty of puzzle with the rosters out there. I think the puzzle of a team that's like 1400 TV up, that's going to get a lot narrower in terms of its puzzle, because you're not going to get the actually for the position where you've got hundreds of positionals. You just take all of your positionals and you have a couple of linemen carrying kick and dirty player. I think that's going to change it a bit, but it looks like we're going to get enough variety and tweaks to the skills and rules that actually lineman development could be a really interesting thing to look at, of where do you go with your linemen and what skills you develop them with.
I'm
like
hoping
creating your
so.
own positionals. Yeah.
Which do you know what, that really works for OWA, but more particularly it really works for Renegades, right? One of the most fun things you can do with Renegades is every one of your guys, because you've only got one of this guy, they become really important, and it does become a case of like, oh, how have you, like, Renegades is a cracking one. It's like, oh, how have you built your Skaven? Is he the ball carrier? Is he a catcher? Is he a blitzer? Like, how have you built these guys? And that bit I think can be really, really, really fun. But I want your take on this, because after seeing the changes to like the box teams like this, and the fact that, you know, you're going through a season in a league, because Blood Bowl, first and foremost, like, although sevens is the best way to play and tournaments are also quite fun, league is like Blood Bowl, the core. It feels like you're gonna run out of stuff to buy, potentially. Which makes me think, and this is really blue sky and first touch, right? So we've not seen everything. It makes me feel like this edition is going to be about you run a team for a league, because while there are some players that grind their team season in, season out, everything we saw at Tournament, everything that we saw at Wobble for all the years, there were very few people who weren't really excited at the end of 6, 7, 8 games to be like, oh yeah, next league I'm running this, next league I'm running this. So if these changes have kind of front loaded you with your positionals having a couple of extra skills, then actually you might be able to pick up that box for that team, run it in a league, have a really good experience for those 6, 8, 10 games or whatever, and then this might be like kind of looking at how a lot of people play and go, okay, well, let's just make that one league you play actually really, really, really fun. So it may be that actually the top end has dropped off because there's less stuff to buy. Like Skaven, I would run 4 gutters, and then I'd eventually buy the Rat Ogre by game 3 or 4, and that would be my kind of build order. Now I'm starting with the roster that I'm always going to have. All the money I need is just to save up to replace the people who die, and that's kind of how I grind. But it kind of puts it more on player development. So boy howdy, apothecaries are going to, if you've got stock in apothecaries, you're going to be all right. I wonder if this is going to be a format where leagues are not necessarily shorter, but it's about maximizing that league cycle. Like, play this team, move on, play this team, move on, because it feels like you're going to get much more play experience with a team that kind of you get all of at the beginning, and they're better or they're more interesting. That's kind of my initial, like, I wonder if that's how we're going to see this go.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's you look at a team like Humans as well, right? I think you're getting all of them off the bat pretty handily.
You got the whole roster before with like 4 rerolls or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's just I think you're right, and you end up with these. I think if you continue to have really long leagues, it's going to get even more stale even quicker. I think. Like we had that long league podcast episode, didn't we? Of just like what's the optimum time to play Blood Bowl. It'll be interesting to revisit that in a year.
Yeah.
With these new changes and see if that's
oh
different.
My god, this is going to make the championships way more fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we do like a 3 or 4 game league and then playoffs. So actually, boom, we're starting on game 3 with your positionals having more. Oh, all right, wait. Cheers, G-Dubs. That's wicked. Yeah, we like that. Cool. Okay, right. New skills and traits. The new edition introduces a number of new skills and traits, providing new abilities for your players, like steady footing, mentioned in the release article. Punt allows players to kick the ball forward without causing a turnover. Taunt allows the player to force an opponent to follow up when they are blocked, so reverse fend, right? Bullseye allows big guy to not have to scatter a thrown player as long as they make a superb throw. Superb throws, I think, were nat 6s. before. I remember we did this
Yeah.
multiple times on the channel, right? Where you'd be like, throw a teammate, oh, roll a 6. And yeah, it still scatters. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Additionally, many skills and traits have seen improvements. Monstrous Mouth now allows a player to perform the Chomp special action. Armbar will now award SPP for any casualties caused by it. Shadowing now just triggers on a 4+ trips. That's got to be good news, that last bit, right?
I mean, that's saved an advanced maths degree every time you get a player with shadowing going. Now, exactly what do I roll, and does it ever work?
See, I think they've just made the skill 3 times more effective, because on the channel it would always be cash, and you'd be the first one to be like, just roll a 6. Like, you're gonna roll a 6. You're gonna roll a 6 or a 1, so it's either gonna work or it's not. Now, a normal person also gets to use the 4s and 5s.
I think it's also really cool on teams like Snotlings or something, because they say just at the bottom. So I'm jumping ahead a little bit, where it's saying shadowing is a devious skill. So assuming you get that on something like a Snotling, that could be really annoying if you just had,
that's miles
random like shadowing on them.
Oh, I love
So
that.
Shadowing the Snotling, it becomes instantly hated.
Trumpets did that, didn't he?
Dodge
Trumpets on the 2 World Titans actually rolled shadowing, and we were like,
yeah, of course, yeah.
brilliant. This didn't. Oh well, now that would be. Yeah. Oh, that's wicked. Oh, this is really good. Finally, there is also a new category of skills: devious skills. Some players, like goblins, will have access to these as primary skills. Others may have them as secondary, whilst players who traditionally adhere to the rules of Blood Bowl may not have access to them at all. By elves. There are a number of new skills in this category, and a number of others have moved here as well, such as Dirty Player, Pile Driver, Shadowing, Sneaky Git, and more. I love that. So shadowing actually becomes potentially then a primary for something like a Snotling.
Yeah, which is I think that's really cool.
Oh, shadowing spam on Snotlings. That's
It's so gross.
That's well unnecessary. Oh, I love that. Oh, this is fun.
I think what's really interesting about this one though is I think this again poor humans and org. Because if their linemen don't get access to this, they lose that whole fouling game which they used to love.
Now
if you can't get your dirty player Sneaky Git,
we got to assume that they still get halflings and goblins though.
Oh yeah, true.
So
okay, yeah.
I would expect.
I think I just assumed they were losing though.
Well, no, I mean, I would be very surprised if they weren't, if they did lose them.
I think they'll keep them, and they'll actually become like a specialist positional for those teams, because you'll be like, actually, these guys can do something that no one else in the team can do. And previously, it was no one else in the team could die as quickly as these. And now it's like, well, actually, they've got a specialist function.
Very OWA style, actually. And OWA was good fun. OWA was sneaky. So I think we've covered everything from this article, with the exception of the tokens. The tokens, I think they already talked about in the release thing. We know what Chomped does now. We don't know what Dodgy Snack does, I don't think. I'm not sure. If we've read about it, I've not.
They said Dodgy Snack was a kickoff event in the first article.
Oh, well, let's hope that places the...
I'm assuming it replaces Pitcher's Ref, because they said this one as well.
Literally what I was thinking. Distracted, love that. Stunned, yeah. Rooted, eye gouge, we've seen that. I like that they're including the tokens if they're including more statuses, more statii, like having Chomped and eye gouge and stuff. If you include too many statuses, I mean, we saw this with the what's that chart we just straight up stopped using? Cheering fans rolling D16. Yeah, because all of that was like, this guy gets this for 4.5 turns, and you're like, I'm not gonna try. I can't even remember. It's raining, like, and I'm outside.
You always just stick like a pink loom band on them or something.
Yeah,
so always goes in tournaments.
Having the specific stuff like this, I think, is actually going to be really good, and I don't mind. I don't mind more crunch, as long as it's visible, as long as you can see it when you look at the table. So actually, Chomped, eye gouge, Dodgy Snack, like introducing these things, as long as they're where they've given them markers so that you can use them to mark it, I think I'm okay with it. Like, too much on the table, I'm not a fan of. It's going to take
Fancy Flight Games over here. Just
yeah, like prone and stunned markers is going to be interesting. I mean, what do you guys think? How well is that going to be adopted by the community? The actual like proning and stunning, not laying them down.
I don't think it's going to be used that much, to be honest. I think it's so much more clear to lay them down. This is one thing that I've been seeing more and more common now, and we've been using in like tactics theatrics and stuff, is like small metal discs, which you just put them underneath for stunned. So it's like you don't even have to worry about facing it round and flipping them over. It's just lay them down. The disc underneath is stunned, and it's just really clear to see.
I think, yeah, maybe the stunned markers will just be like done like that, like a laid down guy, chuck a stun on him. Like we use the Charlie Victor ones for the big models, so this kind of fills in for that for the big models. And one thing, sorry, Trips, go.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the thing. It fills in something where we've used it where you need the visual, and it's quite handy. I think it'll be really useful for starter players when you're getting them into the game and detail of actually what's that. It's a lying a model down is one thing, but actually having that visual thing there will help them not go, oh, that player's, I can't do that with this player or all of that. So I think that'll help. But I think Ben was right. I don't think you'll find people who've been playing Blood Bowl for 15 years going, oh, thank goodness there's a stun token, because I've never understood what model was stunned.
It's more about the fact it's in the rule book now, which I think that's the only kind of concern for me, is that people who are coming into the game, like who go to Games Workshop and buy the game and then start playing, they're going to be like, why are you laying your guy down? Like, here's a
that's
token.
true. Yeah.
However,
it's like,
how great the tournament, how great the Blood Bowl community is, like, it's not going to be a problem in the slightest.
Bit of coach etiquette will be fine.
Yeah. I've even seen people like joking about other people complaining and all that, as the internet does, of just like, oh yeah, some people are going to refuse to use the tokens and stuff. I don't think that's actually going to be a thing. I think people are very normal when it comes to playing the tabletop most of the time. I think you just work it out.
Yeah. The only one that I ever saw before was a few years ago when Litco brought the acrylic tokens out. Like, I did hear of a tale of a player putting those acrylic tokens like behind their standing models. So from the opposite side, it looked like so someone was stunned, so they put the stunned marker like on the back of the base of the player that was standing. So the opponent was like, they moved and did a load of stuff to blitz that player, only to find that that player was actually stunned. And I was like, okay, like that's my only catch out, is like, you got to make sure you're talking and checking it on things.
Make it clear.
Yeah,
that's ultimately the most important thing. If it's clear to you and your opponent, it's
So
these tokens look.
This article that briefs so much stuff, it really does leave us with a ton of questions. It all sounds, with the exception of how you may or may not feel about the team changes, it all sounds really good. I like the idea of Secure the Ball as a player who mostly runs teams that will never use Secure the Ball. Although Blackhawk, Secure the Ball, Blackhawk's got a sneaky buff, I think, unless they are unsteady, which would suck.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Actually, the article says it talks about sauruses and zombies.
Okay.
Okay.
That might be all right.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Anything that nerfs undead is fine. So yeah, I mean, as long as, you know, my movement 7 thrower can still run around at movement 7, and, you know, your little muggle man just kind of has to wander over and stop and just wait for my 2 remaining gutter runners to blitz. Oh, although actually movement 8 now, with a blitz and strip ball.
The blitz might actually be blitzing.
Okay. Okay, yeah, all right. I can see. All right, yeah, okay. Achievement unlocked. I like that.
I'm sure undead coaches are really sad they can't carry the ball on the zombies. I'm sure they're gutted.
They can still carry. They just got a roll of 4+. You know, come on. Roll a d6. Okay, so the other big article that they dropped this week was about the Bretonnian team. And I don't know what you guys think, but I think the photography and stuff they're doing is very good. Like, I love it. Loved these shots. I've loved these shots a huge amount, especially because you've got like the old world buildings in the background, which I think is a very cunning way for the studio to do this. I think what they've done here with the models and the backgrounds, absolutely gorgeous. I love the pictures, but the models are fantastic. The photography's great. Little smoke in the background. It's just, it's good because you don't get a lot of like that terrain itch does not get scratched with Blood Bowl really. So seeing these models with like background and stuff is very exciting. Anyway, Bretts. So they've got 2 throwers, 2 catchers, and 2 Grail Knights. The Grail Knights are your blitzers. They've got armor 10+. They've got block. The thrower has got throw. I think pass should just be called throw. And the catcher has got catch. So, you know, this is kind of why I think this. They've all got Dauntless. and the catchers have got movement 7, and the linemen have been described as similar to standard human linemen with movement 6, strength 3, and edge 3 plus, but they've got wrestle. So you've got a very interesting team here. But I mean, Ben, the first thing you said was like, human lineman with wrestle? Are you serious?
Yeah, it's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
Like,
if they're the same armor, which they look at because they're beefy, like they could be quite expensive though. That's the concern, because that is a premium player. Like 6339 plus.
they've
with wrestle is crazy.
Right, a wrestle player, I would have been like, okay, look at nobility, this edition, right? Edge 4 plus lineman, but they come with a skill, but they're a little bit cheaper. Like, you kind of like, okay, fine, they're not as good as human
And
linemen.
armor busted.
Yes. These guys, if they're not armor busted, they're not edge busted. They've already come out and said that. And remember, being edge busted is not as bad this edition if now there's secure the ball, which I think is really good. So nobility, for example, having the 4 plus lineman, you weren't often taking a dodge out with a 3 plus lineman, right? It gets a little worse, but picking up the ball, fair enough. Your thrower or whatever's out, actually being able to secure the ball with an edge 4 plus player, that's good now. So those players get buffed a little bit. So I could have seen the Brets being edge 4 plus here, but I mean, they've got to be armor busted. Or, I mean, human lineman 50k. Obviously, we don't know what anything looks like price wise this edition. It may be that everybody's got more expensive because there's less to buy. But if they're not armor busted, these linemen are just the best linemen this side of Dark Elves.
Amazons probably. Amazon linemen are pretty great.
Dodge is probably
Dodge is good.
Dodge is probably better than.
Well, this seems exactly it's the same basically.
But they're Dodge armor busted.
Yeah. So if these armor busted wrestle, I could see them priced at the same as Amazon.
Yes. Trips, how would you feel about
the armor? You're looking at like 65k probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
the thing I really like on the Brett's roster was the nerves of steel on both the thrower and the catcher. I thought, not only you've got the potential of that control team, because wrestle is a great control skill, but actually, the thrower can throw, the catchers will likely be able to catch, and you're not going to have to do it in masses of open space, because A, the passing rules are going to be made a bit simpler, and B, you can be standing next to someone and then use your reroll to run away.
Yeah, I mean, nerves is an interesting one, because as long as you are going in the same direction that you want to throw in, it is almost as good as accurate. Like, as long as you're moving 3 squares north, like, your quick pass becomes a short pass, but it goes back down, because instead of throwing 6 squares, you're actually throwing 3 squares because you've run up, based a whole bunch of opponent players, and you're still rolling a 3 plus just for the lols because you can. So passing 3 plus with nerves, I would still always prefer passing 2 plus, but assuming you can still take accurate, as soon as this guy, like this is a gimme here. Like, if he gets accurate, that's a 2 plus quick pass, no matter what the heck is going on elsewhere. And like you said, Trips, the catchers with nerves of steel as well. Like, sure, there's going to be a dodge away, and as a human, I would expect edge 3 plus on these guys. Like, that's definitely not a gimme, but the thrower's good. Like, I mean, yeah. I think still needing a little buff, that 2 plus thing. I mean, Ben, you know what it's like. The difference between a 2 plus and a 3 plus is like infinite.
Yeah, I was about to say it's kind of interesting, because you can kind of afford to get into a scrum or a situation and break out of it with this. Because I've been playing a bunch of Union on Blood Bowl 3 lately, and that happens a lot, where you just sort of like you have a turn of pressure, and because your catchers have nerves, all you need to do is just get it to them.
Yeah,
and they can just go away.
That's with that 2 plus.
Catching on a 2 and dodging on a 2 is significantly better than catching on a 3 and dodging on a 3.
Yeah, the thrower somewhere where he can actually be useful, as opposed to I've got to run him into space, so he's got a chance of throwing, and then he's out of the game for 2 turns because I need to get him back.
Yeah, and the fact that all of these knights have Dauntless means you've actually got a potential of a combat tree for them as well. So let's assume that the catches are strength 3, movement 7, edge 3 plus, nerves of steel, Dauntless, and let's assume they don't have anything else. You've got, okay, cool, 3 plus to dodge, that sounds really fun. Or do I just give them block as well? Do I just give them block first and actually most of the time I'm going to be able to move someone into support potentially and just 2-die blitz away with my catcher, who's just caught it
Yeah.
on a 3++ forever anyway. Like, it becomes
Because you can move them in. You can move in your ball carrier to assist, hand off with nerves, and then
exactly. It's an interesting one. This roster smacks a little bit of if if humans and nobility kind of were blended together a little bit. It's like nobility with a little bit more fight, like humans. Like, nobility don't have a lot of fight. They've got a lot of I'm going to annoy you. Like, this is like, nobility are blue mages. These guys are green. Like, we're just gonna fight. We're gonna
Ability stop you playing. These guys look like they have a way to go forward in terms of that aggression and detail.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, we've said it with a number of the new rosters that have come out, but they do look a bit of fun to try and figure out how to play them.
Yes, and that is everything. And it's really quite fun because if you look at like the roster, you got linemen and 3 positionals, and the positionals are all kind of similar but with slightly different gimmicks. You've got a roster that you're immediately like, okay, this looks really fun and interesting to play. So it just goes to show how much design space they've still got in Blood Bowl just doing human teams. Like,
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
which I'm well on board.
Still got 2 chaos teams to go.
Yeah. I mean, they could do a Tilia team. That would be pretty cool. I'm sure they could find a different way to do Astalia, Araby, Cathay. There's a lot of stuff to do. Okay, I'm well on Brett's. The only thing I will say is you've got this starter box, which is Brett's versus Tomb Kings. They've already sort of talked about the Tomb Kings roster, saying not a lot has changed, but your big guys get Brawler now, which I'm like, okay, this is cool. So Edge 4 roster with 4 big guys against an Edge 3 roster with a bunch of stuff, and everyone's got Dauntless. So I was kind of thinking about the matchup, and I was like, I don't know if I like the Tomb Kings in that matchup, given that there's just going to be 6 players that are like, oh, cool, your thing is about having 4 big guys. Oh, well, on a 4+, your big guys don't exist. Did make me chuckle. And my lineman and Edge 3. What? Yours? Oh.
It's only a 3+, isn't it, for Dauntless?
What would you be doing? For strength 5, you roll the dice, add the dice to your strength.
Add it to your strength, you've got to beat it.
Yeah, so I think it's a 3+, yeah.
Yeah, 3+.
See, your big guys don't exist on a 3+. That's okay. I'll go over there and ruffle stomp your catcher, who is now going to 1-die block you on a 3+. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I like it. All right, so we don't know all the details for Tomb Kings, but what would be your picks for the starter team so far? Now we've seen Brett's, and we kind of know what Tomb Kings is going to be like.
I think I'm more excited by Tomb Kings. The rest of the linemen are so interesting. They think they'll build really cool, but Tomb Kings picking up on 2 sounds kind of fun.
That's
and just
very
smashing
true.
stuff.
Yeah.
I would assume the big guys on Tomb Kings are classified as big guys, so can't do the secure the ball.
I would expect that would be gross.
Yeah. I would expect everyone's hoping that, because otherwise everyone's going to get Tomb Kings in a box set that can pick up the ball, and it's going to be like, the one nil grind is really here.
They did in the other one. Said big guys and people who are unsteady. So
yeah,
I think it's almost a gimme, but nothing's a gimme with Games Workshop these days. So it would be Tomb Kings for BT. Would you be eyeing up Brett's or Toomies? Drips?
I'm a big fan of Tomb Kings because I think they're a fun, if not slightly slow team to play with because of the bash and the detail. I think Brett's will be a lot of fun. Because of the wrestle, I think you will have things that you do not expect to see with Brett's. They will be one of those, particularly when you play against them, that you'll have a few, oh, damn it moments.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the line of scrimmage against Brett's is really scary.
Didn't even mention the Grail Knight special power, which is the new steady footing skill, which is when they get knocked down or fall over, they can roll a dice, and on a 6, never mind, they stay standing.
I hate this one.
So
I just think is awful.
I love it. You're rushing around. Like I often frequently go for it when I shouldn't need to, and this just means that I've got a 6+ ward save with my Grail Knight for rushing. So whether they're movement 6 or movement 7, they're at least movement 8 when I'm running them. So there you go.
There were 2 things in the game that I thought were just annoyingly overly swingy BS, and I think that was a Fisher's Ref and Argue the Cool. And they've basically put argue the call on every time that player falls.
Yeah. It feels like
It's
that
just-
thing that you're going to meet someone who rolls a lot of sixes, and you're going to be like, if you roll another 6 when I knock over your knight,
it's
I
going
am
to absolutely
smack
happen on
you."
the channel. Like, it doesn't matter who's running the Bretts. That 6 is going to spike when it needs to spike. And it's going to be wicked fun. Yeah, I love
You
it.
basically get a reroll on dodging into a cage.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I fell over, but on a 6, I stay standing, which is
Yeah.
wicked. Anyway, guys, I am very excited for this new edition. Great teams from the looks of it, and I just, yeah, it's gonna be new, and I can't wait to show off lots of games on the channel when we get the chance, which is gonna be really, really, really cool. Right, anything anyone else wants to mention before we wrap up today?
No, I'm just looking forward to the next one already.
Looking forward to the next one. That's my first thought when I looked at the roster rules as well was, isn't this going to make mixed teams very much fun? As everyone goes, I'm going to run orcs and orcs, so I can run orcs.
So I do have this brewing as a podcast topic for when the new edition drops, which is a new format called 2-box format. Because I think that could be a very cool way for more experienced coaches, or it kind of like, remember when you did Hangover Bowl, Ben, which is like one sprue of a team and another sprue of another team, or just do 2 boxes. You can run double Bretts, run all knights. You could do double Tomb Kings, run 8 Tomb Guard, or you could just appropriately run 4 Gutter Runners. But yeah, it's all very interesting, and I cannot wait to find out more. So anyway, we're going to wrap up. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Thanks very much for hanging out and playing and chatting some Blood Bowl, and we'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking.